It is great looking, stylish and yet rather lightweight. Is it another decent city electric scooter that goes beyond the expectations? Let's inspect. Hey everybody, welcome, nice to meet you, Tech for All. I'm Michael, and over here we inspect a lot of cool and interesting tech. Today I present to you the Alpha. That's a city electric scooter made by Atomi, and it's rather city oriented because with 9-inch wheels you don't really go off-roads that willingly. A lot of great promises about a decent range, about excellent motor performance, about pretty cool design, something I can totally agree about. And of course we're here to thoroughly test it and figure out whether it really is that good. And if you're wondering why I'm not riding it, no, I should. Let's dive into it. Atomi Alpha is one of the most tempting electric scooter deals lately. At a price just below $600, it seems to have the capacity to overshadow almost every competitor in the niche by being better in most ways. A territory which is traditionally occupied by Xiaomi and Segway scooters now becomes even more saturated because the Alpha model pushes the hardware boundaries to the limits. Unboxing feels great. Tidy, well-packed, well-protected, no corners cut at this stage. There are 3 color variations. This one is the pine green with beige rubber accents, and we have to be honest, it looks so beautiful. The assembly procedure is straightforward. There are a few screws included and a tool. So your goal is to connect the cable and tighten the screws. There's nothing difficult about all of that. But make sure to be extra gentle with the connector because you don't want to bend any of the pins. That's it, mostly. The rest is down to checking the tap pressure, making sure that you know how to operate the folding mechanism and also install the smartphone app. Design-wise, lovely job, excellent paintwork. The tires and the wheels are beautiful. The lights, the display, we certainly have enough things to praise and like. As for technical specs, Atomi highlight their 650-watt motor, the rather long range, the 30 km/h top speed, maximum load is 120 kilograms, the wheels are equipped with 9-inch tubeless tires, there's a hidden rear suspension, there are ambient light bars, embedded combination lock and even a smartphone app. Did I just say rear suspension? Yes, I did, and it's working apparently. So it's one of those very few models which cost less than $600 and have any kind of suspension. It's super quiet and super effective at the same time. The rest of the specs sound pretty interesting. I do have a remark about the motor though, because they say it's 650 watts. The truth is this would be the peak power, and you can count on this peak power in just some rare situations. It's not available all of the time. Most of the time it will be somewhere between 300 and 350 watts, and having compared a lot of other scooters, it's a bit less powerful than the Mi Scooter 3 and 4 series, but pretty pleasing to ride, and the top speed is a bit higher than some other electric scooters. In terms of design, I have 0 remarks. Splendid job, really great paintwork, very appealing, very quiet, durable, and I think this is one of those scooters which are going to last over time. But there's something weird that I noticed, and I think the position of the wheel and the handlebar, they're not perfectly leveled. There's no way to adjust that. It could be a deception, but that's how I feel it at some moments. Now, there are a few more pending tasks left, and we want to thoroughly explore each one of these components with the focus on the motor performance and the range, so let's keep going. Of course, nothing better than testing a flat road and acceleration from 0 to 25 km/h, because that's the limitation for the European region. You're going to need a few seconds in order to reach the speed. For the record, I weigh around 90 kilograms with the backpack, not among the champions in terms of acceleration, but based on the results, ranks quite well. Based on personal feeling while riding it, it's a bit weaker than Xiaomi Scooter 4 Pro, but just a tiny bit. Slopes won't be a problem as long as they're not too steep, and it maintained around 13 km per hour in sport mode going up the challenging area towards my home, where most city scooters traditionally drop the speed down to 9 or 10 km per hour. So motor performance is not great, but definitely good for a city scooter, and having the motor in the rear wheel, it means almost zero waste due to poor grip. The tires are 9 inches of a size, puncture-proof, tubeless. It's another important box ticked, and you can run them at lower pressure for better comfort, which I totally do not recommend. And they have sealant inside, so that in case you get a tiny hole, it's gonna get immediately cured. You can well notice that the rear wheel works really well in combination with the hidden suspension. Even paved roads feel quite comfy, and honestly, the responsiveness is so good that this is not too far away from the Xiaomi Scooter 4 Ultra, which costs almost twice more than that. Safety-wise, a dual braking system, front drum brake and a rear electronic brake. There is no disc, which can get wet or make some weird noises when braking. I know that some people consider drum brakes to be something like entry-level solution, but it's about consistency, and I'm very happy about the braking experience. It's very reliable, and you can easily stop the scooter in emergency situations, and that's what really matters. Only annoyance is that the drum sometimes makes weird noises, as if there's something loose on the inside. As soon as you brake and park the scooter, make sure to utilize this additional extra, the integrated lock, which is hidden. Just pull, lock, and make sure to remember the password. I've read somewhere that you can cut this metal wire with the scissors, which is of course a total nonsense. Material is good and is no different to most other locks. You know, nothing is unbreakable, but gives you the confidence to leave the scooter parked and locked for a few minutes. As for the battery endurance and range, we have 3 riding modes. In sports mode, you're hardly going to go beyond 25 kilometers. In standard mode, the scooter is gonna bring you as far as around 30, and for eco mode, I didn't really have the patience to test. The promised range of 40 kilometers would be possible only if you ride at lower speed, use the cruise control, which is by the way pretty annoying because you have to wait up to 8 seconds in order this to trigger, and also you need to avoid windy conditions, too cold or too hot weather, and you have to weigh less than 65 kilograms. In real life, it's unrealistic to expect matching these conditions most of the times. Good news, even with capacity below 50%, the scooter maintains rather good motor performance, and it may operate at temperatures as low as minus 10 degrees Celsius. As for the frame and overall quality, excellent folding mechanism. This is stellar implementation, very safe and reliable. Going up the stem, which is unfortunately not height adjustable, there's the brake lever, a nice display with real-time speed information, and hey, even turn signals. The lights of the scooter are a lot more interesting than what you would imagine. There's a smartphone app as well, which besides the usual statistical data, range estimations and mode fine-tuning, also lets you customize those. Okay, now we have to turn to the next page and summarize the drawbacks. As a starter, I feel that the board is a bit too narrow for 2023 standards, feels small like the Mi Scooter Generation 1 board width, but that doesn't make it too uncomfortable. Perhaps these dimensions are aligned to the design, so if that's the case, I can probably forgive. Also, the promised 40-kilometer range is rather out of reach if you ride at top speed. The cruise control almost never triggers because it needs to wait 8 seconds in constant speed mode. The display is very pale under direct sunlight, and I'm also going to note down the misleading statement about the motor power. Yeah, I really like the smartphone app, but do you see what's going on? Some electric scooters these days have become so good that it's really difficult to find meaningful drawbacks, because everything that I've said so far is rather insignificant, and this almost is a masterpiece. And no, it's not the most powerful city electric scooter, no, it's not the one with the longest range, it's not the most reliable, not the most funky one, but it's a very solid, very decent choice, and especially at this price of around $600, I believe it's very hard to beat, and it's very easy to recommend. Of course, if you have this particular model, the Atomi Alpha, it would be great if you can share your experience in the comment section below, and you can read what others have to say about this and many other scooters. If you're curious to learn more about electric scooters, subscribe to the channel, watch some of our other reviews. I'm Michael, and as usual I'm going to put a link to this particular one in the video description area, and can't wait to see you in the next video. Enjoy your day, see you soon.